Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of GPI. You know what we about to get into today. So no further ado, let's talk about it. So, I'm going to give you my evolution reaction so far. As the time I'm recording this, the main event is happening. So, I'm gonna make this part of the video, and then the next part you will see is my reaction to the main event because I already know the main event is gonna be good, but I just want to get this started before the main event actually happens. So let's get this started. So what are my thoughts on Evolution so far? It's a good pay per view. If I had to give it a grade without seeing the main event yet, I'm gonna give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. They had a pretty big task competing with All in Texas yesterday, and I think they did a pretty fair job to say. Without the amount of build-ups. Every match has been good so far, decent, I would say. There hasn't been one bad match in my eyes. I mean, you probably had a downer with the NXT Women's Championship, which we will get to that in a second. But overall, the show's been pretty good. I'll say it's been a 7.5, 8 out of 10 for sure. But let's get started with the first match. One of my favorite matches of the night. I have two favorite matches so far of the night, and we're gonna start with one of them, and that is Becky Lynch versus Live Victoria versus Bailey for the women's IC title. And Lord have mercy, they came out and started hot. And I said this in my last prediction video. I said this will be, I think, the best match on the card because ever since after WrestleMania, this rivalry between these three ladies has built up over time. It started as a Becky and Lyra feud, and then Bailey came back and inserted herself into the feud. And we know all three are good to great wrestlers, so we knew all three was going to put on the show, and that's what they did. Some member spots was in the matchup. Each women was countering each move that they were doing. It's like they were studying each other very well. My favorite spot in the match was Bailey was trying to hit the rose plant on Becky Lynch, and then Live Akira did the little spring the little diving leg drop onto both of them. I feel like that was a pretty cool spot. And then at the end of the match, Becky no, Bailey hits the rose plant on Lyra, but then Becky saw the opportunity and did one of the most selfless, I wouldn't say selfless, one of the most creative roll-ups I see. And I think she had it in her to do. She did one of the most creative roll-ups, roll up Bailey, and then it was 1, 2, 3, and Becky Lynch retained the title, and that was pretty much it on that part. What goes happens from there? Well, SummerSlam is 3 weeks, so they gotta find another matchup for Bailey. I don't know who would that be. I guess we'll find out on tomorrow's Monday Night Raw who will it be. But Lyra and Bailey, I think their feud will continue. I think they will have a match into SummerSlam. They've already been building this rivalry, and I think it's going to increase even more with both of them out of the Intercontinental title picture now. So great match overall, great match to start. And then we get to a Debbie Down. And I'm sorry if I gotta go on this little rant. I'm not gonna call it a rant, but this is my question. Why is JC Jane the NXT Women's Champion? I still don't get it. Not that she's not a bad wrestler, but you always hear people say when it comes to anything, sports, business, jobs, there's levels to this. And JC Jane is not NXT Women's Champion level. I'm sorry. Maybe the North American title, but that's no here and there. But let's get into the match. The match was an okay with Jordan Gray. There wasn't nothing too special. Jordan, to me, carried the match big time with some of the moves she did. Jordan Grace is a powerhouse, an unbelievable powerhouse. But I think the only interesting thing is what happened at the end. So, Fatal Influence, I finally got the group right because the last video I couldn't even think of the group. So, Fatal Influence, um, it tried to interfere. Blake Monroe takes the ladies out first of Fatal Influence, helping Jordan out, and then Jasmine Nix grabbed the title. Blake Monroe saw it. hits Jasmine Nix, and then once she hits Jasmine Nix, uh boom, that was it. And no, that was not. I'm sorry. Once she hit Jasmine Nix, she hold the title, telling Jordan, pumping up, yeah, you got this. So basically, Fallon Henley on the other side distracting the ref, and they did a little Irish whip reversal, and then all of a sudden, Blake Monroe hits Jordan Grace, but it was so fast you didn't really see it. And then that's when people started to realize, oh, she really turned on Jordan Grace. And a lot of people was right about that. I'm gonna give the IWC credit because they all talked about Blake Monroe turning heel, and I didn't. And my only problem was I didn't want her to turn heel this soon. That was my only problem. I'm not saying she shouldn't turn heel because I think Blake Monroe, known as Mariah May, can be one of the best heels in the company easily. She was already one of the best heels at AEW with a rivalry with Tony Storm. So I think she can do the same in WWE. So what happens from here? I think Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe starts their rivalry, and then for JC James, she got her big matchup with Marsha Slamovich at next Sunday TNA Slammiversary title for title. So we're gonna see what happens with that. But this is my problem. At the Great American Bash, Blake Monroe pinned the NXT Women's Champion, and now one day later. You cost your tag partner that you just won the match with the title by hitting her in the back and then letting the opponent you beat, my bad, letting the opponent you beat yesterday beat your tag partner. Something's not adding up with me. I don't know why, but that don't make sense. I'm sorry. If the plan was always to turn Blake Monroe heel, you could have had Jordan Grace pin Fallon Henley. You could have had Blake Monroe pin Fallon Henley. Heck, you could have had Jordan Grace pin um JC Jane and that anticipation for tomorrow, like, oh, she already pinned the NXT championship. Can she do it tomorrow again? And instead, it felt like her match at Great American Bash was for nothing. But nothing. But nothing. But that's no here and there. I'm not going to be too mad about it. But that just don't make sense to me. Anyway, then let's get to the next match of the night. The Fatal 4-Way tag match for the women's tag team title. This match was better than I thought. I always knew it was going to be good, don't get me wrong, because of the talent inside the ring, but this match was better than I thought. Each team doing different maneuver sets. I like the entrance with Zarya and Soruka. That was cool. How Zarya came out and then Soruka, one of the most athletic women, females in the company, just jumping over her like it's nothing. Yeah, but that entrance was cool. But the match was pretty cool itself. Charlotte getting cheers. We never thought we would say that. Charlotte Flair 2025 getting cheers. And we're gonna talk about Tiffany because um she was getting a little bit of abuse in her matchup against Trish. She was doing a little heel tactics. Maybe something to watch out for. But basically it was going toe to toe. I think some key moments in the spot, the key teasing that Zarya and Soruka rivalry, or at least the heel turn by Zarya, because this is the second time in a week that Zarya has accidentally speared Soruka. At some point, Soruka's gonna be confronting Zarya about these spears. Like, I know it's accidental, don't get me wrong, but this is 2 weeks in a row you keep doing that. And then Charlotte saving Alexa from it. But at the end, Raquel and Roxanne, who makes a pretty good tag team, I give them credit, finish the job. And they beat, Raquel pinned Soruka. So what's next for each team? Kabuki Warriors, I'm not sure. For Zarya and Soruka, they just gonna keep building on that potential heel turn. That's gonna happen soon. It's not a matter if no more, it's a matter of when. And for the tag champs, I think they defend at SummerSlam against Charlotte and Alexa. Potentially win for them to win it and get a big moment. But that's no here or there. Now let's talk about um before my bad, because I was about to say let's talk about the J match. But that did not happen. That did not happen next. Let's talk about the Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus match. Tiffany did a decent job. It was an okay match. It was a good match. They did what they need to do in 10 minutes. Let Trish have a few moves, let Tiffany shine a little bit, and at the end, Tiffany won, like I said she would. Um, I didn't want to be disrespectful and call it a filler match. But that's basically what it was because it was Evolution and they had really nothing for Tiffany until SummerSlam. So they gave her Trish Stratus. And my first crush, Trish Stratus, I don't want you to take this as disrespect because to me, you are the greatest woman superstar I've seen. Charlotte's almost there, but she's one of the greatest superstars I've seen. Trish Stratus had a good bout. After that, they let her moment, waving to the fans. I wouldn't say a goodbye, but thank you for all you done and all that stuff. And that was pretty much the end of that matchup. Now, let's get to another match of the night favorite for me. Um, Jay Cargill versus Naomi, no holds bar. Man, this match had little shades of that Texas Death match. I ain't gonna lie. It wasn't that ugly, but they try to make it that ugly. Jay Cargill, like they taking toolboxes out. They getting camera people, getting the camera hitting Naomi with the camera. What happened? Naomi drop kicking Jay into that LED screen, breaking the screen. Like all the equipment was destroyed tonight by these ladies, but it was a good matchup. My only thing is, I wish I didn't see Bianca out there because I feel like she was not needed for this matchup. Low-key. Like we don't even know if Bianca's still healed yet. Like it was like we thought she was gonna be. There were reports already coming out that she may not be healed in time for SummerSlam. So why had her come back for that matchup? I know she's in a rivalry or a budding rivalry with both of them almost, but let that girl heal. Let that girl heal. Okay, she's done it's clear that her injury's serious because she's been out since after WrestleMania. So, let that girl heal. Honestly, let that girl heal. But honestly, the match was pretty good for what it was. Like I said, a lot of these matches was pretty good for what it was. That's why I said Evolution hasn't been a bad pay per view so far. Right now, I'm just looking back and forth because the main event is on. But that's about the Jay and Naomi stuff. What's next for Jay? We know her and Tiffany at SummerSlam. What's next for Naomi? She's still going to be looking because she got that Money in the Bank contract. She still has it. So I think Naomi's going to get that win at SummerSlam. Jay will win, but then Naomi will cash in on her. Honestly, I think Naomi will cash in on her. And um, yeah, that's pretty much it with these two ladies. Good match, solid match overall. I have nothing negative to say. They did all the spots that was needed to be done, and boom, that was it. And I know this is already a long video, so let's try to pick it up so I can get this main event and then come back in a little bit and talk to y'all about the main event and what I feel. But the last match I want to talk about is the Battle Royal. Right now, not right now. Stephanie Bakir won like I predicted she was, and she gets to go to Clash in Paris to get an opportunity at the Raw Women's Championship against who? I think it's going to be Rhea, but we'll find out. And I'll come back for the second part of this video that will be together. But yeah, Last Legend, Saw was in the May tonight with Last Legend being the final two, so I give her credit. Naya, always dominant, whatever. I know sometimes I don't like Nia myself, but I do respect her in terms of like how dominant she is and how she portrays herself as a dominant person. So, it was a good little battle royal for what it was. Nothing too special. I think I'm glad that we did see Paige, but I'm also upset that we did see AJ Lee, but that's no here or there. But that's it for this part. I will get back to y'all once I finish this main event and give you my reaction. Man, in life, they always say it's best to keep your mouth shut because you don't know what's gonna happen. And by God, what just happened? First of all, Evolution got bumped up immediately after this main event. I said the event was an 8.5, well, like a 7.5, 8. It just bumped up to a 9 out of 10. This was a perfect show from start to finish for a women's pay per view. I want to be clear when I'm saying this. This is the perfect excuse me. This was the perfect pay per view for women from start to finish. Each match was decent. If you want to say there was some Debbie Downers, sure, but each match didn't feel like as sluggish and slow and monotonous. It just didn't feel that. Like each match had its purpose and it served its purpose very well. But Lord have mercy, let's get to this main event because this video is already long. What just happened? I totally did not think Naomi was playing that Raw Women's Championship. I didn't think. And I would think most of the IWC didn't think either. But you gotta remember, they're competing with All in Texas, which they had record breaking numbers, sold out. They had a great ending. And no Triple H knew, probably in the back of his mind, well, they had a great ending. We gotta show them we can create a great ending too. And they pulled the plug. They pulled the plug. And what's so shocking about this win is SummerSlam is 3 weeks away. So now I don't even know who Naomi faces. Do she face Rhea and Io in a triple threat match? Rematch for the title? Like, I don't know where they go with Naomi being champion. Is it good? Yes. I'm not saying it's good. I just don't know where they go. And whew, the match is already good, honestly. They said like the match was great from start to finish. Like the storytelling in this match was pretty good. They made Rhea Ripley look like she could not beat Io at all from a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint. It's like everything Rhea does, Io finds a way to counter it, and I like that. And then they did something semi fruition that I talked about in the last prediction video. I said Rhea was going to turn heel in this match to win the match. Well, Rhea didn't turn heel; she became more aggressive, and I think that's the side that we really haven't seen from Rhea ever since the mommy gimmick came. She's been too softy soft, and I said it's time for Rhea to get back to what made her Rhea Bloody Ripley. And that was that aggression. That was that fear in people's faces. And that's what she did tonight. She showed a little bit of that Rhea Bloody Ripley. And Naomi, man, Io Sky. This is one of the best women's wrestler on the roster. Maybe the best. Her and Charlotte, chef's kiss when it comes to them wrestling and putting on great matches because they can put on great matches and there's other women too, but I'm talking about just from like an athletic like prowess, they can put on great matches. But man, overall this Evolution show was amazing from start to finish. I give it a 9 out of 10. Now I will have Evolution again next year. Triple H, do not screw this. You put on one of the best products in a very long time. Let's just be honest. Because all the other pay per views you put on this year has been god awful. Honestly. This, I would say, was probably the best pay per view for 2025. So now what I need Triple H to do, and Triple H, I'm talking to you, I need you to carry on that momentum into SummerSlam. You can't have Evolution be better than SummerSlam. I'm sorry. But the real winners are women. And this is my final lesson, and then I'm out of here. Women of all places, wherever you are, we appreciate you because you keep us going. You are the light in our, you are the shine in our light. And It's all the women that pay for us, and now I'm not talking about WWE. I'm talking about entrepreneurships, business, whatever you can think of. Like women deserves a lot of credit, and I think this pay per view reminded us how important women are to the wrestling business per se, because I know I'm talking about wrestling, but just in overall life, how women are important to our life. And honestly, just let's just give it a clap up for women because women, y'all just y'all are everything, and I appreciate women for being in this because we can't do it without them. Just like women, like look, they always say this: a man a man can't do it without a woman, but a woman can definitely do it without a man. Do I believe that? No, I think we both need each other. But the one thing that's consistent is that us men need women in our life. And that is the truth. Evolution was a great show. Naomi is your new Raw Women's Championship after cashing in during the EO and Rhea match. And Monday Night Raw is tomorrow. And by God, they gave us something interesting to talking about because after the Seth situation, I didn't know what WWE was gonna pivot to or how they was gonna pivot. Well, Naomi's headlining the show now. She has that title, and as I said, yeah, women, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching another edition of GPI. You know who I am. 11, 12 hours of wrestling in the past 2 days. I enjoy each moment of it. And this is a great time to be a professional wrestling fan. Like I said in my video earlier, a great time. So thank you. Have a good one. See y'all later.